Hello and welcome back, everybody. It is week 2 in the NFL. We had a nice game last night. Our props from that game, we were 2-3. Solid night, fun, entertaining game. Green Bay looks like they are extremely good, but hey, we are talking NFL Sunday today, and we're going to get over our top 5 props. Now, before we get into it all, come join us at Prop Optimizer. Props Optimizer is our free prop betting app on Android or iOS. Go to the app stores, download us there. If you're on YouTube, go into the description below, and we do have a link to both Android and iOS downloads there. And shout out to whoever it was that let me know last week the link wasn't working. I have fixed those. I appreciate it. We do see all your comments, so thank you guys for that. Keem, thanks up. Thank you for showing up. Always appreciate it. Andrew S. Collins, BTJ. I think BTJ is going to have a big one. Collins definitely could. He has that ability. That offense just looked a little stagnant. Not that Jags didn't, but yeah. All right, guys. I'm your host, Tyler Wiemann. Let's get into it. We're going to start off by a review of last week on this show. Then we'll get into the picks. And last week's show wasn't all that great. We were 2-3. Jonathan Taylor sold. He had 71 yards in the first half. Got banged up a little bit. It was a blowout and pulled for the second. So we had some bad little variance there, not go our way. Juwan Johnson absolutely crushed. Went for 70-plus yards. Theo Johnson had 2 bad drops and ended with only 5 yards, unfortunately. J.K. Dobbins got it done. And Lamar Jackson had incredibly efficient on the ground. It had like 70 yards and 6 carries or something like that. So unfortunately, that sold also. Should we target the Cowboys versus the Giants matchup? I do think that's going to be a fun game. There are some plays that I do like in that game. One of them I'm going to talk about later on the Underdog show, which we will do later this afternoon. But I don't mind that play. I don't mind some of that one. Giants. All right. I know it's been going around the media a ton that Dak is 13-2 versus the Giants. And, that may play up once again. This Cowboys team isn't kind of an interesting one to bet. There is some big time upside. Andrew thinks CD got to score. All right, let's get into some props for today. And we're going to go right over to Daniel Jones. And we're going over 0.5 interceptions. We are at 0.6. Consensus is 0.7. Look, Danny Dimes looked like Danny Dimes last week. I'm not going to lie. He looked exceptional. But if you look through everything, he was versus the Miami Dolphins. The Miami's Dolphins defense all preseason looked awful, and it even looked worse in week 1. They let Danny Dimes and the Colts put up 33 on them. This week, they get one of the best defenses in the league against them, and that is the Denver Broncos. Patrick Surtain is going to erase somebody. I think that Denver is just the hugest step up in competition they can possibly have. And Danny Dimes, as it is, averages like an interception per game. I do not think this one lines up very well for Danny Dimes. While he looked great, this Broncos D is for real, and I think they're going to have plenty of opportunities for an interception. And you're getting it at plus money, plus 115. Think books are just wrong with those odds right now. Danny Dimes to throw at least 1 interception. Next, we got Puka Nacua, higher than 77.5 yards. LineStar's at 79.5. Consensus at 81. I have seen some books have gone up to 80 already on him. So that is, a possibility. There is likely that this line moves up slightly. He had 11 targets for 130 yards last week. But the thing is, he is the number one. He is absolutely trusted by Stafford, and he gets it done week in and week out. And I think this is another spot for him. The only thing really negative about this spot is that he is generally not done quite as well outdoors, but Stafford was he's just too good. He is the kingmaker for a reason, and Puka is excellent. He also didn't have as high of a snap count as he generally does because he was in and out of the game, just like Andrew just said as well. And he is far and away the number one option. If this line gets too high, I think you can go Davante Adams. I don't mind Davante Adams' spot. He had 8 targets this week. I think one or both of these wide receivers are absolutely going to feast today. The target share to them, to these two, are huge. And then over the last 4 games, Puka's averaging 100 yards per game. If you look over last year, he was over in like 8 of 11 games last year where he did not either get ejected or leave early. I love the spot for Puka. We went there last year, I think, or last week, and we got to go back. We did it on our Underdog show last week. Puka's just too good and going to keep coming back at it. Tucker Kraft was one of our picks from yesterday. I had him at plus 210 for a tutty. He got it. We also got that prop there. Now we're going to go to Calvin Ridley, higher than 55.5 receiving yards. LineStar is all the way up at 75. Consensus is at 64. This is the number one option for Cam Ward. And in a spot versus the Rams, we're just going on the other side of that Puka game where I think they are going to have to throw. And Calvin Ridley is going to return being the main target. He had 8 targets last game versus that Denver D that we want Danny Dimes to throw a pick for. Denver D is one of the best defenses in the league. Cam Ward looked decent in his very first game. I think he's going to learn a little bit. And I think Calvin Ridley is in for a very big year. The man had over 1,000 yards last season with Will Levis. He has a big quarterback upgrade, and these yards are coming. He has 66 yards per game over the last 4. That's including that 27-yard game last week, bringing his average down. Now, this Rams D looked decent last week. It definitely held Nico to limited yards, so there is that path, that possibility. But I think they're going to scheme Calvin Ridley open. Nico wasn't running the best routes, and his usage did not look good last week. I think it goes differently for Calvin Ridley this week. Next, we got to go back to Juwan Johnson. So I have 2 different Juwan Johnson props for him, for us here. We have 3.5 receptions, and LineStar's at 3.8, consensus at 4.1, and then we have 33.5 receiving yards. LineStar's at 37.1, consensus at 36.8. I like either one of them. You can decide which way you want to go. Now, the thing with Juwan Johnson here for me is he had 11 targets last week. He's against the beat-up San Francisco 49ers this year. I think the Saints are going to be able to stay into this game a little bit just due to the fact that the 49ers are so beat up. But Juwan Johnson played like half his routes or half his snaps out of the slot. What that means to me is he is essentially the second option on this team. He's going to be utilized a ton. And those targets are going to be a little sticky. He's not going to get 11 every week. But what we did talk about on last week's show was the man's averaging over 40 yards per game with Spencer Rattler. That is sticky. I know some of that last year was without Rashid, without Olave, but the simple of it is that Rattler trusts him. Rattler has built rapport with him, and Rattler is going to keep going to him, especially with him out of the slot. And then you add in the fact that 49ers have let 50 receiving yards per game to the tight end. Juwan Johnson clearly looks like he is heavily involved, and I think we can go back to him once again this week. This line is going to, if he does it again, this line is going to be much higher come week 3. Then we're probably going to start being off it. But while it's still in the 30s, while it's still at 3.5, let's hammer it. Now, last but surely not least, we're going Jordan Mason higher than 13.5 rushing yards. Now, this is a spot last week where the game script was going against Minnesota, and he had 15 rushing yards. Minnesota had to come back in the fourth quarter and score 21 points to win the game. While they weren't down by a ton, it was definitely not the game script for Jordan Mason, but he still had 15 carries. I think he is going to play a ton. I like him again this week. He's in a good spot versus Atlanta, and I think they're going to go to the run early and often. Jordan Mason actually played more snaps than Aaron Jones. While Aaron Jones is going to be used as an offensive threat, used all over the formation, he played 50% of the snaps to Jordan Mason's 54, and in a game script that more supported Jones than Mason. I think Mason regularly is going 15 plus rushes. I think we can go back there again this week. Now, to round it out, throw out all our picks over there again. We got Daniel Jones over 0.5 interceptions, Puka Nacua over 77.5 receiving yards, Calvin Ridley over 55.5 receiving yards, Juwan Johnson, you can go either 3.5 receiving yards or 33.5 receiving yards. Receptions, not 3.5 receiving yards, 3.5 receptions. A little typo there. Jordan Mason over 13.5 rushing attempts. And as Keem just said, he's going to play him with the Kels free square. Take advantage of all the promos you guys possibly can. It is the best way to be profitable, is to make sure you're using all the promos. Prize Picks will have one. Chalkboard will have some. All of these sites will. There's parlay bonuses on DraftKings or whatever sports books you're on. Make sure you go to use them. And little promo here, if you go to the description, we have a link of multiple different providers that we have. Chalkboard, Underdog, the list goes on. If you're a new customer, promo code LineStar. If you don't see a promo and you want a promo code to one of these books, we probably have it. Just reach out to us on Twitter, on the LineStar Twitter, on my personal Twitter, or you can email us at info@betfully.com. Now, that'll do it for us today, guys. Hope you guys have the best of luck. Have a very profitable Sunday, and we'll be back in a little bit. I have the 2 MLB shows. Later today, we're going to have the Underdog show and the main slate DFS show. A lot of content is being pushed out today. See you guys later. Have a good weekend. Let's make some money and come join us at good old Props Optimizer. Download us. See us all later. Give us a 5-star review. All that good stuff. Thank you. Thank you, Andrew. See you, Keem. We will cash. Let's go. Talk to y'all later. Peace.